Good evening and welcome to From the AD's View. I'm your host, Dr. Cedric Brown. And before we get started, as always, I want to give honor to God, who's the head of my life, because without him, none of the things that I do would be possible. As a father, as a professional, as a husband, none of those things would be possible. So I want to give honor to him. And as you can see, we have a special guest on the show today. We have the assistant men's basketball coach at Southern Utah University, Mr. Allan Hanson. What's going on, Coach? How are you?
I'm great. I'm great. How about you?
Man, if I was any more blessed, I'd be twins, man. So you know how that is. So real quick, Coach, before we go into more in depth in this, have a few quick things I want to ask you about really quick. Coach, what does leadership for NCAA student athletes mean to you in a couple words?
For student athletes, leadership means accountability, focus, and dedication.
Okay. All right. And then how special is it for you to be an assistant men's basketball coach at the Division I level in a few words?
It for me. It's a goal. It's a goal for me to continue my journey to my ultimate goal of being a head coach.
Absolutely. And as the viewers will find out that this is a very talented young man, and he will attain that goal. And then the last topic question that I have for you, Coach, and this is going to be kind of difficult because I'm only going to let you give me one word, and I'll let you think about it a little bit. In one word, what does fatherhood mean to you?
Greatness.
Greatness. Okay. And to our viewers, these topics and more on From the AD's View. Let's get it. Welcome back. Welcome back. Let's bring our guest, Mr. Allan Hanson, back into the show. Coach, again, new to Southern Utah University, not new to college basketball. You were a student athlete. You were you did your graduate assistant work there. You were a video ops person. You've been the director of basketball operations, and now you are one of three very talented coaches on that go on the road and recruit. And you're one of four or five talented coaches on that staff with Derek Jeter. So, can you share with our audience, Coach Hanson, what does leadership look like for you in a student athlete? What attributes do you look for? Leadership attributes do you look for when you're recruiting the students, when you're mentoring the students, and things?
I think that's a great question. I think leadership for me, when speaking with student athletes and recruiting student athletes, I think you look for someone with ultimate confidence, someone who's willing to tell their peers no, and being accountable for their actions, both in their sport, in the community, and in the classroom. So those are the things that I look for when seeking leaders to come and play a part of our program.
And that is, very admirable, Coach Hanson, because you are yourself and Coach Tucker are two individuals that, have been affiliated with Coach Jeter, and you more than the others. We didn't start it, but we have continued to implement at the school student athlete advisory committee, right? And the representatives that are a part of that SAC committee, as it's called in the NCAA. It was adopted in 1989 at the NCAA convention, and I'm just going to read a little bit of what the SAC committee for those student athlete leaders are. It ensures that the student athlete's voice is accounted for both educationally and athletically. Some of the leadership opportunities that they have are they get to comment and react on legislative proposals. They get to talk about issues of interest and actions that are in their division, whether it's Division 1, 2, or 3, because they have it at all levels. They are part of student governance. They're part of the president's council at the institution, and they tend to go on to athletic administration. So, Coach Hanson, when you are looking for leaders in programs like that, SAC and student governance and president's council, you said that you're looking for someone that will lead and not afraid to tell their peers no and things like that. But when you were the captain and you played at University of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, you know, what were you what characteristics were looked at from you for you from Coach Jeter, right? And now what are you looking for when you want to put your student athletes in different leadership roles?
I think for me, leadership has kind of just been a natural characteristic that I've always kind of embodied. Every sport I've played, I've taken on that leadership role. Whether it's basketball, I was a point guard. Football, I was a quarterback. Baseball, it was a pitcher. And I've always kind of held those positions amongst my teams and been captains on every team I've played on. So those are some of the things I kind of take along outside of sports as well. Embracing leadership, embracing conversations that aren't necessarily the best with your peers, being able to say what's right and what's wrong. And I think those are kind of the difficult things that leaders have to face when they're having those conversations. But that's something that I feel is very important. And then being accountable, not just talking about it, but being about it through your work ethic and through your friendships and your conversations.
And I can attest to that in watching your career now and getting to know you and understanding who you are and seeing the relationships that you build with the student athletes. And I'm older than you, right? But you are an old soul. You're someone that has that old school, cut from that old cloth type of thinking. And as we talked about your mom and your dad growing up, you said that they instilled those things in you, right? And you said, one, mama, she didn't play. She did not play, and wanted you to be the young man that you are today. I look at you specifically because I can interact with you almost each day, and I can attest that the things that you're talking about right now, Coach Hanson, are true, right? Because I watch how you move and you ask a lot of questions, and they're good questions, and they're you can tell that you're engaged and that you want to be a better professional, and you want your student athletes to be better as well. When it comes to putting together a plan and a philosophy for those student athletes, how much autonomy do you have as a young assistant coach to, following what Coach Jeter wants, and then you also have the autonomy sometimes to put some of your experience into it. What is it like being an assistant coach at the Division I level, Coach Hanson?
I think for me, I've been very fortunate to in my young college coaching career to be an assistant for someone who I've played for.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's been very important for me, to be able to work for a mentor of mine, someone who I've played for and watched evolve and have great success at this level. So I kind of I get the little sneak peek because I've played for him and I know what he expects. There's certain things, I've been through everything that he looks for. I know how to handle, some days that aren't the best, as a athlete, as a player of his, and as an assistant and someone on the support staff for him. So I kind of know what he looks for, knows what he doesn't like. And so I just try to make sure everyone on staff and the players, everyone a part of our family, just kind of are aware and know what's expected to make the transition easy to get to understand what he's looking for.
Yeah, and because early on in your career, right, in conversations that we've had, many conversations that we've had, you were the first recruit of Shaka Smart. That was at that time under Coach Pearl, I believe, correct? Bruce Pearl.
Well, coming out of high school, I actually signed to play at the University of Akron.
At Akron, okay.
At the time, Shaka Smart was an assistant coach, in the same role that I am in now. And he recruited me, and I actually signed to play at the University of Akron. And I was the first student athlete that he signed, to play basketball. So
Now, and then later on, we realized the type of philosophy that Shaka Smart had, VCU. Then he takes the job, and then eventually ends up at Texas, and now at back in Milwaukee right now at Marquette. Correct? Is that where he's at now?
yes.
Okay, and understanding what a coach wants, because that leadership that Shaka Smart has, because with that havoc defense, full court, man to man, run and jump, right? It's not, you put student athletes in a good position to run particular defenses like that. You have to have a leader on that floor, right? You got to have that point guard that can lead them. How do you determine the responsibility and the autonomy that you're going to give to your student athletes as an assistant coach?
I think the biggest thing is getting to know each student, each athlete, and understanding their makeup, understanding what buttons to press with them, and figuring out what kind of makes them go, what makes them tick. And those from there, you're able to tell which guys are capable of handling which roles and which guys are capable of handling a leadership role. And for me, just being a leader in all areas of my life, I just try to draw some type of connection with the student athletes and go from there.
Okay. And, in some of the conversations, you are, as I am, a very competitive young man. And, sometimes student athletes, want to get in a shooting contest with, oh, coach, you can't shoot. You can. And I hear you often like, don't write no check, that your backside can't cash. Playing around with them because, you get your feelings hurt. I'll have bragging rights over you and everything. So what types of experiences did you have as a young player that you're using now to help you be a more efficient assistant coach?
I think for me, just every day, just knowing I wasn't the most talented student, the most talented athlete, I just had to pretty much go off of my work ethic. And for me, that's what's got me to this point in my life whether it's in my career, whether it's with my family, whether in all areas of my life, just giving it my all, and just living with the results, because I'm competitive, and I've always had the mindset to refuse to be outworked, and just relying on faith and my work ethic, and just giving it my best, and going from there and living with the results.
Well, I'm a firm witness to that, Coach Hanson, because I've watched you in the short period of time that we've gotten to know each other and that we're building our relationship. And you are definitely, what I call a 40 under 40. You one of those top 40 guys in the country that are on the rise as a young assistant coach, under 40 years old. And I thoroughly believe that under Rob Jeter's guidance, that you're going to get there. Coach Hanson, stay with us because our last segment is going to be a very special one. You are watching From the AD's View. We'll be back right after this break.
Water. It's everywhere. We drink it, we bathe with it, we cook with it. Coffee's made with water. Toilets won't flush without it. It's used for washing clothes, dishes, utensils, pots, pans, floors, and our teeth. Plants and crops need water, animals drink it, and fish need it too. And don't forget, we can have a lot of fun in the water. Water. What will we do without it?
From the creative team that brought you The Browning Project and Dead by Morning comes a new thriller that will change the way you look at white-collar crime forever. Falling from the Sky.
I'm Leon Thomas with the Leon Thomas Group. Podcast, virtual events, webinars, streaming shows, and so much more. We want to be your partner in all things virtual.
Welcome back to the show. Before we bring our guests back, I'd like to talk about something that's special to me, my book. I was blessed to write a book, my dissertation, and turned it into a research book on how Black men overcome racial barriers in the status quo in NCAA institutions. It was a enlightening project that I was able to complete. I was able to garner several different mentors through that, and they're mentors that are with me to this day. This book is on Amazon.com, and if you scan the QR code on the screen throughout the rest of the show, you'll be able to purchase the book if you so choose. And if you do that, I appreciate the support. If you want to get in contact with me, please, you can reach me on my website at cedricmbrown.org. You can reach me there, or you can reach me on my LinkedIn as Cedric M. Brown, PhD. And then finally, you can reach me on my new email, which is fromtheadsview@gmail.com. At any given time, if you reach out to me, I'd be happy to speak with you, happy to talk to you about my book or anything related to sport management or intercollegiate athletics. I'd love to sit down and chat with you. And I am also available for guest appearances for speaking and things like that. So let's bring back Coach Hanson. Coach Hanson, buddy, You and I do a lot of joking all the time. I guess I'm known around the office as CeeLo, and you're known around the office as the Kevin Hart imposter, right? But we have a good time, and it's all about family, right? It's all about, we talk about, the ability to laugh, right? Because some of the things that we deal with through the course of the day, we deal with heavy things, right? We deal with trying to help student athletes matriculate and trying to help student athletes deal with the daily grind, both mentally and physically, of being a student athlete at the Division I level, right? All the pressures and, all the rigors that happen as they're going through their daily grind of their courses, going through the daily grind of the workouts that you all put together for them, and and then the expectations that Coach Dieter has of the program, which leads to you being a quote unquote father figure to these young men, and being someone there for them to help build character and help them, stay on to keep their moral compass north facing. What does fatherhood mean to you, Coach Hanson? Because you're a new papa. You're a new papa. You got the little man. So what does fatherhood mean to you? Describe what it means.
Fatherhood for me means everything. To officially, now be a father. I have a 2-year-old son, just turned 2 back in September. And it's just been the greatest blessing. It's given me so much more drive to keep pushing, to keep striving to achieve my goals, to keep being an example of what I would like for him to see, the ultimate competitor and ultimate goal-driven father and husband. So it means everything to me.
And seeing you, with your little man, you can tell that you all are building a great relationship between you all, and he spent some time around. Well, spends a lot of time around the team, but he spent some time around, us, outside of the team, and you can just see that he is a very happy, little boy. What experiences do you take from your father in the rearing, in your childhood? What experiences have you taken from that and then put them into you as now you're raising your son?
That's a great question, because it's something that I think about quite often. I lost my father 5 years ago, and my father was my best friend throughout my entire life. So just trying to have an open line of communication, a friendship, and just a natural happiness, and nothing that's too serious to where, even though he's only 2, I want him to have a level of comfort, because that's what I had with my father growing up, where my father had a relationship with me to where he only needed to tell me once how to go about things. And I took that very serious. And at the same time, we had a relationship that was, I wouldn't say a friendship, but he was my best friend, but I understood the role he played in my life.
Absolutely. And you play that role for many of the student athletes that you've had here in the present and that you had in the past when you were a head coach at the high school level, right? And those relationships are important. Some young people grow up without a father in the household. They grow up, some not knowing their father. Fortunately, we have those that grow up with their father in the household. right? And sometimes it can be challenging, right? Because, even though little man has a great demeanor and he has an awesome smile and he's always, laughing and things like that, and always has a ball in his hand, some type of ball in his hand all the time. What are some of the challenges that you faced in your young fatherhood, Coach Hanson?
Um, I face some challenges. I think for me, just he's getting to that age now to where he's just going, and me having to sacrifice Sunday football, me having to sacrifice certain things to go do things that he would like to do. So those are some challenges that I'm facing, or I'm currently facing. In the past, he's kind of getting ready to graduate from the diapers, but I've had some bad diaper days, man. And those were challenges.
Did you get blessed with the golden shower?
I got the golden shower once, but it wasn't as bad as the other way, and having to take him right to the bathtub, and I was on daddy duty all by myself. So that story definitely got something to me for sure. So that was an ultimate challenge.
And your bride wasn't around to help you, and I imagine, sometimes she'll close the door and be like, hey, let him deal with that, like she don't even hear you. That's funny. That is funny. So go ahead.
This morning I had that experience to where she loves gymnastics, and Simone Biles was on, and she said, hey, when he gets up, he's on you today. Whatever you gotta do, he's on you. Simone Biles is on. So I had to take over father duty, and he woke up on 10.
Right. And I see I have one of my former players here, assistant coach at in Division I level, Anthony White Jr. He has nieces, and he's had some situations where he had some bad diaper days as well. And he's down at Charleston Southern. Thanks for commenting, Anthony. Had some challenges, right? So, and I'm gonna take the obvious one out of it. Other than your baby boy being born, right? What is the most pleasant or awesome thing about fatherhood?
Just seeing me at that point in life. Just from hearing my family and everyone just talk about how that was me. Just a lot of those mannerisms and energy and smile, just being able to see you at an age when you didn't know. I think that for me, and to see him naturally just gravitate towards sports, towards basketball. One of his first words he's ever said was buckets. So
buckets.
So that for me is just so gratifying, and I'm grateful to have a son who resembles me and has a lot of my personality.
Yes, resembling is a great word, because when you see little man, you see Big Al. Absolutely. And Anthony, I see you. I love you too, young fella. And that's another one. Anthony White Jr. was on the show in the first season of our podcast, and he's another 40 under 40 that we're going to be hearing from and watching. Last thing before we close this episode, Al, I always talk to my guest about what faith means to them, or spiritualness means to them. And in many of the talks that you and I have had, in your upbringing with your parents and things like that, can you share a little bit of what faith means to you?
And that aspect has come a lot from my grandmother, who I consider my best friend. she's instilled faith in me at a very young age, and she stayed on me to continue to just believe, and just use faith as something that's going to help me get to my ultimate goal, and rely on faith and my hard work and my dedication, and everything and my goals will be accomplished. So faith means everything to me. Faith carries me day in and day out. Faith is the reason I'm the man I am today. And faith is going to help me get to where I want to ultimately get to.
And you will get there, Coach. I do believe that you have a great mentor in the person that you work with each day, in Rob Jeter. Couldn't be a better man for you in your life. Again, as you know, somebody that you played for, now somebody that you work side by side with now. And he's shared some things about faith and things like that we talk about often, and it's enlightening, and it's it's thoughtful to have colleagues around that and we don't get deep into it. We just we know and we understand. And Coach, if people wanted to get in contact with you, right? They want Coach Hanson to come and speak to the a group, or they just want to share some experiences and things like that. How can they get a hold of you, Coach?
Well, my email, allanhanson@suu.edu. I also have an X, formerly Twitter account, Allan_12. Those are the primary means of the way to get a hold of me. I'm pretty active on responding to emails promptly and X. So if you have any questions or any conversation, you can reach me at both of those locations.
And there's no real significance to the 12 or the 1-2, right, Coach? There's no real significance to that. It's just something that you came up with your Twitter account, and you just chose that, right? Did I get that right?
That's my basketball number since I was a young fella, and it's just 1-2. It's the way life starts. 1-2. First two things counting to three. So 1-2.
Absolutely. Well, Coach Hanson, or little bro in the office, I truly appreciate you coming on the show and sharing your experiences and sharing your wisdom and your knowledge. Did you have anything else before we got off the phone? I mean, we got off the air that you wanted to talk about real quick?
I do have my book. I'm looking forward to getting started with it. I got the special edition. Looking forward to it. Thank you, big bro. I appreciate you for taking the time and allowing me on the show and helping me out day in and day out and being that big mentor for me. And I greatly appreciate it, and I'm thankful for our relationship.
Well, it's important that you pay forward things that you receive from others. And as you can see on the screen, if you scan the QR code on the screen, you can get in contact. You can purchase the book on Amazon.com if you so choose. So, and if you do, I really do appreciate your support. So again, Al, I want to thank you for being a part of the show. Thank you.
Thank you.
And as I close in my closing monologue, I just want to say that I want to really, my heart pours out to the DMV there at Bowie and there at Morgan, and the things that they've gone through over the last 72 hours or so. And then Coach Bozeman losing his son within the last 10 days. Not going to get real heavy on you with regards to guns and things like that. I am a person that believes in the Second Amendment, and I'm also a person that believes that we do need to, have some things done so that we can prevent senseless killings like this in our country, because no one deserves to die at the hands of a person that just doesn't care about life. I hope that we can, as a country, can come together and figure it out, because we do have amendments that are constitutional that I believe that we should follow, and then as a people we do have ways to vote to have things better for us. So my heart goes out. My producer, Mr. Leon Thomas, lives in the DMV, and he's somebody that's active in the community all the time. And my heart goes out to him too, because these are individuals that, he might know, or he might be a couple of degrees from separation of knowing. And so I really want to make sure that they understand that the thoughts and the prayers from the AD's view is going out continually to those families. Again, I thank you all for joining the podcast. We can be seen each Sunday evening at 6:30 Central, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time for more open and honest discussions from the AD's view. Good night and God bless.